Jensen Assey. You're watching CryptoVantage. Today, we're talking about NFTs for good. Digigo is an agency that offers NFTs as a service, and they have an exciting partnership coming up. Founder of Digigo, Shaun joins me along with the founder of Emerge, Lucía Gallardo, to talk about their latest project, the Æternals. Hello, guys.
Hi.
Hey, how are you?
I'm great, thank you. It's nice to see you both. I see you often on the crypto conference circuit, so it's really awesome to see that you both have a project together.
Absolutely. I think nobody's more excited than me, but Lucía might be close second.
Yes. And to think it all came from a crypto conference where we ended up just having a great conversation on a boat, and then it all became madness from there.
All the greatest conversations happen on a boat. So why don't we actually start there, Lucía? Tell me about how this project came to fruition.
I think Shaun and I both come from the same mentality of really wanting to see this technology be transformative in ways that connect to social impact and sustainable development. So I think it was like two separate people operating with their own projects. And we happened to be on a boat with a couple of mutual friends, one of which had realized that we were on the same page. And so literally brought Shaun over, sat him next to me, and then said, "You two talk." And we hit it off from there. The chemistry was amazing in terms of where we really wanted to go with NFTs, where we wanted to experiment with, and how we wanted to use the technology. And so really it was a point of inspiration of saying, we're both committed to purposeful projects. We both see the technology evolving in really interesting ways and see some potential of what could be done with NFTs. And it was just coming together for the right cause, and then getting to work and building it. So great conversations happen on boats.
Absolutely.
Shaun, tell me about the Æternals.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is the first project that we decided to do at Digigo, and obviously in partnership with Emerge. And the basic concept of it is we believe in two things simultaneously that they can exist. That NFTs can be more than just art or just a collectible or just a game. That they can be a combination of a lot of different things, which we term multi-dimensional NFTs. And then you can also add another dimension to it, which is impact. And they can be used to drive all kinds of engagement and all kinds, of course, of revenue opportunities for social causes as well as impact causes or NGOs. The same way that a lot of people think is going to happen with fashion and is going to happen with gaming, or we're seeing it happen, not think. We think that is definitely a realm that can impact the way that we view philanthropy as well as impact. And it's like taking that into Web 3.0. And that's why we developed our first project together, the Æternals, which demonstrates, at least for us, what is possible in this world. And we really would just want to get everybody excited about this concept. We want to put it out there as an example. And the greatest thing that can happen as far as we're concerned is lots of other people start to emulate it.
All right, Shaun, I think that while you were talking, we actually lost Lucía. She is joining us from Honduras and had a dicey internet connection. So maybe she will be back with us, but I think we're in good hands to learn about the project from you. So I saw a rendering of one of the Æternals NFTs, and it just looked so magical. Tell me about the NFT. It was really not like any NFT I've seen before.
That's amazing. I'm so happy that you enjoyed it. I mean, you got a very sneak peek that a lot of people won't be able to see for quite a while before to release the project. But we wanted to give an impression that you were really in the rainforest, or that you could have guardianship over that. The concept really, or the conception of the idea really, was around what kind of person we want and what kind of experience we want to be able to deliver. And for us, it's about being a guardian of the rainforest. And the reason for that is we've partnered with an NGO, a very notable NGO in South America that does a lot of work on the protection of the rainforest. And they do the majority of their work, like 95% of their work, through the indigenous people of the rainforest. So we thought what we wanted to do is actually understand the way that the indigenous people feel about the rainforest and create an experience that kind of mirrors their values, but being very careful not to be culturally appropriative at all, but just kind of have that ethos through. So the idea is to have this visually beautiful plots of the rainforest and guardian it and grow it and interact with it. And that's kind of me selling out a little bit of the interesting concepts, but our NFT will be, as far as we're aware, one of the first, if not the first, to actually go through state changes. So as you interact with it, it actually changes and metamorphosizes and grows, so to speak. So you really have a role in maintaining and caring for this, because that's the kind of ethos that we want, and that's the interaction we want with NFTs and what we want to demonstrate. So we're very proud of the art, we're very proud of the interactivity, and we're also very proud of the concept.
I want to talk more about that caring for the NFT and change and it's changed. Like, it was really something to see and something to experience. But first, can you expand a little bit more on how you got to know the indigenous people of the rainforest and how you really brought their values to life through the NFT?
Oh, absolutely. So the Rainforest Partnership has been doing work in these countries for a very long time. So to be very straightforward, we got all of our insight from them and the work that they've been doing on the ground. Lucía, as you know, like sits on the board of the Rainforest Partnership. So she was that bridge that allowed us to connect from a value point of view, first of all, like our values being the same, but then also getting access to the information and understanding how these people view their role within the rainforest. And I think a lot of that culture has been popularized in recent, like movies like Avatar. So I think a lot of people would be very familiar with the way that the indigenous population in Avatar looked at and cared about the rainforest. And I think a lot of that concept came from the Amazonian tribes in themselves, or the Amazonian indigenous people. And we just tried our best to do a good job of mirroring that experience in a very basic way and in a very subtle way with the way that you interact with our NFTs.
Now, the NFT is super beautiful to look at, but tell me, how does owning an NFT, when I get it, actually relate back to the rainforest? Like, what's the connection?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we have a couple different very cool ones, actually. So we're going to be the first to do a couple things. So the first one overall is obviously through purchasing the NFT, a significant portion of the proceeds, so 55%, go directly to the Rainforest Partnership. So your first level of impact is you are funding amazing development work by supporting this NGO. The second level is that as you interact with the NFT, it does grow and it changes. But we also are planning in second stage, this is post-launch, to install IoT sensors in the rainforest that will actually also elicit changes in the artwork and what we call state changes into our assets. So if the temperature changes or if the humidity changes, these are things to be decided, but we can actually have graphic changes within the NFT. So in that way, as you view your NFT, in a way, you're kind of getting to know what's happening in the rainforest, and then you get attached to that ecosystem. And it's a way of being, let's say, informed in a visual medium as opposed to in a text medium. And then finally, sorry, like I'm going to go out a little bit. There's one more like very secret one that we're working on, which is the final stage of our project. Hopefully final, not forever, but we're looking at creating very interesting prizes or gifts or as rewards for specific people in the ecosystem that allow you to, through your contribution, gain amazingly unique opportunities, like a trip for two to the rainforest or naming rights for particular species, because the Rainforest Partnership has actually discovered 10 new species in the rainforest, and they have the naming rights for that, and they're willing to endow that onto owners of NFTs as well. So we're excited about that as well.
That's really cool. So there are 10 species out there waiting to be named, and if you participate in this project, you could potentially have the opportunity to name one of those species.
Absolutely.
And you could just name it anything. So if I got one, I could just name it like the Jenn species.
I'm fairly certain that we would probably prefer if there were no profanity, and they would prefer that as well. But yeah, the Jenn species sounds good to me.
So, I mean, this maybe just explain this a little bit more. So, are you saying as the rainforest potentially gets healthier or unhealthier, the actual NFTs will change to reflect that actual habitat of the rainforest?
Yeah, so there's two levels. Number one is through interacting with the NFT, it changes and gets healthier. So that's your caretaking. So think of it like a digital Tamagotchi, like those little toys we used to have. If you feed it every day and like you take care of it, it evolves and grows. That's concept part one. And then part two is based on the health and the change in the rainforest. Your NFT changes as well. There is a secret part three as well that has to do with social impact, but we'll go that on our next interview, assuming I get invited back.
There's so many secrets here. Now, there's 10,000 of these NFTs that are going to be available. The project is hoping to raise $4 million to help conserve the rainforest and put that back in through Rainforest Partnership. I want to talk about the plethora of NFT projects out there. It seems like even if you have a project for good, you really, really have to invest in the marketing of that project. And then even so, users, I think, are getting a little bit wary because there are a lot of projects that have flopped lately. There are a lot of scams out there. How are you going to ensure that this project gets the eyeballs that it needs to actually raise that money to funnel back into the rainforest?
Well, absolutely. I mean, success for us may be measured a bit differently. I mean, monetary is one way to look at it, and that is fantastic. But we think about success in terms of achieving the goals of awareness as well. So for us, it's a multi-pronged approach. I wouldn't put a price tag on it as saying it's 4 million or it's 2 million or whatever it is. That's the incidental side of it. For us, I think success has all to do with one word, which is community. And our orientation towards marketing, PR, etc., is to gather a bunch of like-minded people together into a community and grow that to be a very strong place where people can interact with like-minded people, that they can come together based on similar value systems. And it actually, I kind of hope, and we all do in the team, that through putting these people together, lots of other things get birthed out of it that have nothing to do with us. We just put the right people together. But they recognize that this is a platform that we're creating to allow them to be even more creatively expressive on top of the platform that we've built, on top of the tech stack that we've built. And we've shown them and given them ideas of what can be done. And they can partner with us in many different ideas. So, I mean, one word answer is our focus is community. And that's really what we're about. The monetary is a secondary value stream, an important one, but it can't be the only measure, or else you're not going anywhere.
Does the project translate to the metaverse?
That's a very interesting point. We have definitely thought about it on multiple accounts, but for us right now in the stage one, we're focused on delivering the value proposition as it exists. Nobody, to our knowledge, before has done metamorphic NFTs. Nobody has done, as you've seen the artwork, says something so lush and so beautiful that's, while at the same time quite real, also very imaginative. Something that has live gameplay that's web-based as well as a live asset. There's so many amazing elements to it. We want to just focus on delivering something that fits the description that we have, but there's absolutely nothing stopping us from taking the development further in the future. And of course, the metaverse is without a doubt well within the boundary of our team's capability. We're just more interested in delivering on the early promise of something beautiful, interesting, different, as well as impactful.
Do you think projects like this are the future of social impact? I mean, having that digital asset that's reflective of a physical space. Do you think that's where we're heading when it comes to bettering our environment?
Well, I would say absolutely, with one modification. So for us, we are not necessarily we're not a digital twin, so we're not representing a specific physical space. It's a virtual like creation that is itself a virtual piece of art. But do I believe that impact is going to be modified forever by NFTs? Absolutely. I think the reason we set this up is because we think in a year to 2 years time, apart from there being Ferrari NFTs, Chanel NFTs, and there will be Save the Whales NFTs. There will be Black Lives Matter NFTs. There will be movement-based ones, geo-based ones. And the reason for that is very clear for me. It's a new form of engagement with a new audience that has the ability to like now interact in a digital way. They have a new level of transparency that blockchain can create. And it's also a social proof. It's like, here's my NFT. This is what I care about. My money has been put where my mouth is. Or through amazing initiatives like POAPs, shout out to the whole team at POAP. I think they're amazing in what they've done. I went to this event. I was a part of this march. I was at this conference. It gives validity. It gives a sense of belonging. It gives a sense of community, but it validates the fact that you care about it through either participation or also through monetary contribution. And with those things, we can fight against things like virtue signaling. And that creates a huge potential to create verified, validated groups that can do change together. And so do I think it's going to change the industry forever? Absolutely. Just like blockchain is going to change lots of industries forever.
Yeah, NFTs really are for me, and I think for a lot of people, the future of community and engagement, just as you were saying there. And I think just to even help the audience understand a little bit more, it's like the next version of being in the Facebook group that is passionate about the rainforest or is passionate about change in the rainforest, but it just gives it that extra validity and I think that extra meaning, so I think it will be really interesting to see what comes out of the NFT space as we move forward. When can we expect this project?
Oh, absolutely. Right now, we're torn between January and February in terms of our launch date. But those of you at TNABC, the North American Bitcoin Conference, will definitely see some sneak previews from us as we'll be exhibiting there and be doing on stage a little presentation. So guys, we'll get there. And we've partnered with some fantastic organizations. I'm happy to say that Nifty Gateway will be handling our launch, which is wonderful. And the team over there have been extremely helpful. And we're also going to be purchasing carbon credits from Climate Trade as an ongoing purchase to offset carbon. Or rather our climate impact, with the goal of being carbon negative into the future, as opposed to just being carbon neutral. That's obviously a goal that we're striving towards. But yeah, we have a lot of interesting and amazing partners, many of which, too many which to name. But I should also mention that Digigo and Emerge have come together with about 6 other companies. We're now a team of 27 people who are doing this project together. And everybody is just incredibly skilled, incredibly good at what they do, and incredibly passionate about building this out. So I'm just super proud to be part of an amazing team doing a great project. I can say one thing: we're not going to release it until it's good enough.
I love that. I love to see people thinking about NFTs in these innovative ways and, really putting some utility into things that we were thinking of at the beginning of the year as just these digital JPEGs. So I love to see the work you're doing, Shaun. Thank you so much for joining us. Please tell Lucía we missed her. It was good to have her in the first little portion of this interview. Hopefully we can catch up with her in January, maybe after the launch. She can let us in on what the project has in store in the future. So thank you. I look forward to seeing the project in January. I can't wait to see what comes out next from Digigo.
Fantastic. And thank you again for having us on the show. We're big fans. So we look forward to addressing your audience again, maybe post the launch and telling them the updates. But we look forward to the support. And thank you very much for having us on the show. We're big fans. So hopefully we see you again soon.